Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa coming to you from Chicago, USA, sitting in for David Kerr. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. With just hours left for the arrival of the Holy Father in Canada on his penitential pilgrimage, all preparations are in place to welcome the successor of St. Peter. The pontiff is slated to arrive at the Edmonton International Airport in Alberta tomorrow, July 24, where he will be accorded a rousing reception. On Monday, July 25th, the Pope will meet members of the indigenous peoples, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit in Massachusetts in the morning. Later in the day, he will interact with the indigenous peoples of the parish of the Sacred Heart in Edmonton. On July 26, the Pope will offer Holy Mass in Edmonton before traveling to Lausanne to take part in the Liturgy of the Word. The following day, he will depart for Quebec City, where he will interact with the Prime Minister and Governor General. On Thursday, Pope Francis will preside over Holy Mass at the National Shrine of Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré. He will have a private meeting with the Jesuits at the Archbishop's house on July 29th, followed by an interaction with former students of the controversial residential school of Iqaluit. The pontiff will depart for Rome the same afternoon from Iqaluit Airport. With Pope Francis set to visit Canada tomorrow, July 24th, the faithful in Canada are eagerly awaiting the much-anticipated papal visit to the North American region. The Vicar of Christ pilgrimage of penance will reconcile the indigenous communities with the Catholic Church. Now let us examine what Canadian believers have to say about the visit of the pontiff, which is hours away. We turn you over to Jenny Connolly, who will bring you the hope, expectations, and joy of believers.
So how do you feel about Pope Francis coming to Edmonton and coming to Canada at large?
Oh, I feel blessed. I've never had the experience to see a pope in my life. When I was young, I always wished to meet a pope. So this is such a blessing to experience his presence and to have him around in our Catholic faith in Canada, and to ask for forgiveness and from our brothers and the First Nations. And so we hope that we can be united again, and we are very grateful for his courage and humility for visiting us here and to come bring forgiveness and harmony with each other.
I just think it's wonderful. He is elderly, but he's seeing, how important it is for us to reconcile too. And I think it's with our indigenous peoples. It's a beautiful thing that he's doing to show his love, and he's a man of love, and I'm excited that he'll be here.
So the Pope has apologized for the legacy of the residential schools, and it's an understatement to say that this is a big deal for a lot of people, and it's also seen as opening a new era in the Canadian church. There's a sense of healing, a sense of connection. There's new doors being opened in the Canadian church due to the Pope's apology. What are your thoughts on being a Catholic right now in this new era of the Canadian church?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I can just see the possibilities opening up for us as Catholics to unite and learn more from different cultures and different perspectives, but also for other people to maybe that haven't experienced the church because of hurt, maybe experience some healing and get to come and be part of the church, which is a blessing and wants to welcome everyone to meet Jesus in our Catholic faith. So I think it's very exciting.
And I think it's wonderful for our First Nations people to be able to experience firsthand the love of the Holy Father and his genuine regard for them and regret regarding the residential school experience.
I'm actually looking forward. The one thing that the Pope did tell the indigenous groups was the church is with them. And I don't think that's something to be isolated just to the clergy. It's for everybody. And so I'm actually glad to be part of the church and trying to be with the indigenous groups as they journey along with the reconciliation. Even though I'm an immigrant, I can clearly say I'm not part of this, but no, I am part of it right now, being part of Canadian society and trying to reconcile with them.
Thank you, Jenny. A French priest who served as a missionary in Cambodia has been elected as the new Superior General of the Paris Foreign Mission Society, which was instrumental in spreading the Catholic faith in many parts of Asia. Father Vincent Senechal, who served as a missionary in the Asian nation for 9 years until 2016, was elected the new head of the society for a 6-year tenure. He was elected on July 18 during the General Assembly in the French capital, which was attended by delegates from Asia and the Indian Ocean provinces. During his 9-year shift, the 50-year-old served as vicar, professor at the seminary, and chancellor at the Apostolic Vicariate of Phnom Penh. Father Senechal, who holds a doctorate in biblical theology, was a member of the committee that translated the Roman Missal into Khmer. He also represented the Catholic Church in the Bible Society of Cambodia. The Vatican has cracked the whip on the dissenting voices in the German Church by issuing a statement to correct their synodal path that is currently underway. In its statement issued on July 21, the Holy See reminded the synodal path that it does not have the authority to oblige bishops and the believers to new ways of governance and novel approaches to doctrine and morality. It also clarified that the intervention was necessary to protect the freedom of the people of God and exercise the episcopal ministry. The statement also said that the new official structures or doctrines represent a wound to ecclesial communion and pose a threat to the unity of the Church. It also cited the words of Pope Francis, who said that if a particular church separates from the entire ecclesial body, it weakens, rots, and dies. Hence, it is necessary to ensure communion with the whole body of the Church. The intervention comes after the synodal path entertained voices of dissent against priestly celibacy, all-male priesthood, and the hierarchical structure of the Church. The persecution of the underground church in China is intensifying. In the latest incident, communist authorities in Xinjiang, in Hebei province, demolished a place of worship belonging to the underground Catholic Church. The incident took place on June 27 when its bishop, Dong Baolu, was hospitalized. The prelate was warned by visiting officials of the Communist Party that they would demolish the church if he refused to join the Patriotic Association, which is the only church sanctioned by the authorities. In his diocese of Zhengding, all priests have been told to join the state-sanctioned Patriotic Church. It is reported that most of his clergymen have signed the deal to be part of the Patriotic Church, and in return, they have received the license to preach. Persecution of the underground church has gained momentum after the inking of the Sino-Vatican Agreement in 2018. In the U.S. state of Louisiana, a judge has blocked the state's trigger laws banning abortion from coming into effect. Judge Donald Johnson came out with a preliminary injunction prohibiting Louisiana from enacting the trigger laws on Thursday, July 21st. The laws were framed in such a way as to come into effect once Roe v. Wade was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. Separately, in Florida, an appeals court decided not to put on hold curbs on abortions after the 15th week of pregnancy. The new curbs came into effect earlier this month. The request to block the enforcement of the 15-week ban on abortion was made by abortion clinics in the state. Although they argued that the trial judge lacked the authority to issue it, the court rejected the request. A flurry of litigations has come up over abortion bans that came into effect in Republican states after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade on June 24. The unrest in Sri Lanka continues even after the appointment of Ranil Wickremesinghe as the new president of the crisis-hit nation. A day after he took over as president, hundreds of police commandos and troops raided anti-government protest venues and assaulted protesters in the capital, Colombo. Visuals from the site revealed troops and cops cordoning off galleries and physically attacking protesters, forcing them to disperse. They also pulled out tents and other structures in the mayhem. This is the second clampdown on protesters in the 3 months of agitations that have been rocking the capital city. The unrest intensified after the veteran leader was sworn in as president on Thursday, July 21st. During a speech, he had vowed to clamp down on what he called illegal protesters, and this added fuel to the fire. The nation is reeling from an acute shortage of fuel and other essential supplies triggered by the worst meltdown of the economy since its independence. In Nigeria, the body of a Catholic priest who was brutally killed by abductors was laid to rest on Thursday, July 21, at the Cathedral of St. Peter of Kafanchan Diocese in Kaduna State. Father John Chaitnum, who was kidnapped alongside Father Donatus Cleophas, was reportedly killed by his abductors. A requiem mass was held for the slain priest by Bishop Julius Jakub Kundi of the Kafanchan Diocese, in which hundreds of faithful, priests, and religious took part. In his homily, the prelate decried the surging rates of attacks against priests and the faithful in the country. Proclaiming that they will stick to the faith, the prelate urged the civilians to end the evil of violence and move forward in peace. The two priests were abducted on July 15 from the rectory of the Christ the King parish. The statement released by the diocese states that Father Chaitnum was killed on the same day of his abduction, and his body was recovered in a decomposing state on July 19. However, Father Cleophas escaped the abductors and returned home safely. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.